Well, good morning, TD Christian community, and it is Friday, and it is another virtual assembly. Congratulations for making it through another week. We have an exciting assembly planned for you today, and we are going to kick it off with two things. The first is going to be devotions from Joyce, so thank you, Joyce, for that. And the second thing that we are going to do is continue on our 28 Moments of Black Canadian History. Hopefully you've been following along in our daily assemblies and learning the stories of many different Canadians. But we are going to continue today with the story of Samuel, who is a Congolese pastor, and he's going to share some of his stories of his upbringing and what he's doing now. And he's also going to share with us the story of Afro-Canadian church music in the 19th century, and also its impact not only here in Canada, but one particular artist's impact even in Nashville. So I hope you enjoy these two things.
Hi guys, my name is Joyce and I'm currently in grade 11. I just want to share a devotion that I wrote for the grade 7 and 8 day package. The title of the devotion is Trusting in Jesus, Our Bedrock. It's based on the Bible verse Matthew chapter 6 verse 34. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. And I'm gonna read the devotions. We worry about everything. It's so easy. As we age, we focus on different things. And as our focus changes, the things we worry about changes. In our age, we often worry about school. We worry about friendships, assignments, due dates, and our future. It's where our focus is on. However, worrying is an unhealthy thing to do. It keeps us from sleeping, eating, and simply enjoying life. It's a waste of time and emotions, and it doesn't add anything to our lives. In the Bible, it says that God doesn't want this for us. He doesn't want life to be pulled down with worry. We can't enjoy the day God's given us if we fill it with worry. Instead, we should be spending our time to glorify God. He wants us to trust in Him because He will take care of all things. If God can feed the birds in the air, I believe that He can and will take care of you. Please join me in prayer. Dear God, thank you for being my strength and rock. Whenever I'm worried, remind me of your power. Fill me with your peace during hard times. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. I hope you will remember as we go back to school that God is in charge and that we should trust Him to keep us safe.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Samuel Kanza. I am a father, I am a husband, I am an associate pastor, I am a videographer, I'm a video editor, and I'm also a photographer. I was born in Montreal, raised in Ottawa, and I had the privilege to experience several social classes. So I was born in Montreal Nord for my Frenchies out there, which means that it was a very poor area. It was actually the first place where I experienced racism with my parents. We were just gently walking on the sidewalk and a car passed by and threw a bunch of garbages at us and called us the N-word. I mean, I was really young, so I wasn't sure what it meant, but based off of my parents' reaction, I knew it was a bad thing. Fast forward, moving into Ottawa in grade 6, I was also called the N-word by a girl in class. At that point, I'm in grade 6, right? So I already listened to Biggie, I know what it means. But I felt for the first time the responsibility as a black man to not react the way I was expected to react when I was being called that word. And I really feel like being in a society where you have to stand up for what you believe in as a black person, where you have to identify as a black man, it changed your perspective, especially from a young age. Aretha Franklin to Usher to Brandy to John Legend, all these people have something in common, and that is that they all started in church. Today I want to focus on the Afro-Canadian church music of the 19th century. So the church plays a very big part in the musical experience we have today as people. We can hear it in Pharrell's biggest hit, Happy, where the whole song is carried by a traditional church clap. And we even hear the church's influence in the music like Kanye's latest album, Jesus is King. But where do us Canadians fit in this redefining sound? Well, the journey of the Afro-Canadian church music started in the 19th century, where different communities across Ontario gathered together and created their own church. And that is where they would sing what we call spirituals. So those spirituals were based off of their slavery days and their experiences. And the skill to sing spirituals was so valued back then that ministers would travel all across Ontario to sing to different congregations. The abolition of slavery in Canada in 1833 reflected in the lyrics of certain spirituals. Many of these slaves were taken out of the United States and they escaped. And you can see that through the lyrics. Slave masters did not have the rights to teach those slaves how to write or to read. And that is why they had to communicate through spirituals. And that is very much reflected in early spirituals that we hear today. A very important figure in Canadian history is Portia Mae White. She was the first Afro-Canadian singer to go international. Though she was not born or she did not found fame in the 19th century, she did in the 20th century, I think it's still very important for us to highlight her, especially considering the fact that she started in the church as well. She began singing at the age of 6 under her mother's direction. And then through vocal training and performance training, she expanded her gift and started teaching and also singing on the radio. Later on, she moved on to expanding her platform and singing internationally in New York. She was the first Canadian to perform at the New York Town Hall as well. I think it's really important for us to realize that an Afro-Canadian who went international, who was also Black, made their way in church and also went international. And I think that is why it's important for us to recognize Portia Mae White today. To learn more about Afro-Canadian church music history from the 19th century, click on the link below.
Well, the next thing that we are going to do in the assembly is celebrate some more student work. So we are going to look at two different things. We are going to look at a how-to video that Abigail made in Comtech, and then we are going to look at another invention from the STEM class that Ben made. So take it away, Abigail and Ben.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be making brownies. First, start off by preheating your oven to 175 or 350. For the wet ingredients, you will need 1 cup and 2 tablespoons butter, 2 1/4 cups sugar. Grab a pan and turn on the heat, then add the butter and sugar together. Make sure it is well combined and keep the heat on low so you don't burn the butter and sugar mixture. Once combined completely, remove from heat and let chill for 3 to 5 minutes. Then add it to a mixing bowl and mix in 4 eggs and half a tablespoon of vanilla extract. For the dry ingredients, you will need 1/4 tablespoon salt, 3/4 cups and 1 tablespoon cocoa powder, and 3/4 cups and 1 tablespoon flour. Sift all together into one bowl, then mix it together and add to the wet ingredients. Once combined completely, add in your 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and then add to your baking pan, which is lined with parchment paper. Then put it in the oven to bake for about 35 minutes and it should be ready to enjoy.
It's very chocolatey. very good.
Before I took this STEM class, all I had was a problem. Now, I actually have a solution. This is what I came up with.
Wondering what my problem is? Well, it's sugar. Any time of the day, I can snap on my ski goggles and head out. My grandparents live across the road from my family, and on their counter is a jar full of rock sugars. Have you ever had one? They taste so good, and are so easy for me to get, that I've become slightly addicted to them. What's wrong with this addiction? Well, sugar increases the risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, interferes with immune function, accelerates aging, causes tooth decay, increases stress, takes the place of important nutrients, etc. I know. I can make a machine to help me break this addiction. I'm taking a class that is teaching me how to invent stuff. I'll call it the Sugar Intake Regulator. According to the class, first I need to figure out the requirements of the build and some possible ways to accomplish them. Perfect. Next, I need to narrow my options down. Great. Now I just need to build it. Out of what is the question though? Then it hit me. Lego. What other material could I possibly have such a ridiculous amount of? Once I figured out my requirements and what to build the machine out of, ideas came pretty quick. My goal was to make a machine that introduced some sort of delay before I got a rock sugar. I decided to do this using gear ratios. I wanted to make it so that you had to spin a handle a whole bunch of times for every sugar. Here's one of my initial tests using a conveyor belt to move the sugar. So far, so good. Test number 2. Here's the finished version 1. It works great. The only problem is that it looks like a big, ugly, gray box. I think it's time for version 2. Presenting the more colorful, slightly less ugly box. It just needs one finishing touch. A fancy yellow sign should do.
Well, here it is, the finished sugar intake regulator. You know what? It's not even worth it.
Well, I have a couple announcements to make to you. The first is that this past Tuesday night we held our first ever TD Trivia Challenge. It was held on Zoom and it was fantastic. Over 100 people participated and a whole bunch of you students and families. And it ended up in a tie and we had a very exciting tiebreaker. And our second place was a group of female staff members here at TD. So congratulations to that team for coming second. And a big congratulations, and more importantly, the winner of the first ever TD Virtual Trivia Trophy went to Team Brinders, which was a combination of the Browers and the Rinder families. So congratulations to our grand prize winners. The other announcement that I have to make is that the talent show is coming up fast. Now, the way that you can submit your talent is in the announcements every day, and Mr. Kim and Mr. Klompmaker would love to see your submissions. And to kind of get a taste of what you could show, we are going to check out a quick video of Steven, who is playing the piano. So thank you, Steven, and take it away. Well, thanks, Stephen, and the deadline for your submissions is coming up. So if you're hesitant to send something in, I strongly encourage you to do that, whether that is juggling, a saxophone solo, a beautiful piece of art that you've painted. We would love to just celebrate the talents of TD Christian on March 4th, which is a Thursday night. Okay, so again, check the announcements for how to do that. Well, that's it for me. I hope that you have a great Friday and a fantastic weekend. And yeah, get outside and enjoy the snow. All right, take care.